What up, y'all? In today's video, we're going to talk about the $40 a day meta ad strategy I use to test faceless digital products so you don't have to post 1,000 TikToks every day. If you're sick of the organic, you want to test meta ads, even if you don't run faceless digital products, still try this out. You can use this if you're a coach, if you have a different offer, if you just can't seem to make meta ads work. But try my strategy. Just hear me out. Try it. A little bit of proof down here. There's two different offers I run right now. Yesterday, I did $700 on one and almost $1,200 on the other. Margin on this was about 50-60% yesterday. Really good day. Made about $1,100 profit. And then testing a new offer with this exact strategy yesterday, it ran break even. It's like $100 or whatever. But let's get into this. So why CBO from day one is a guess and not a strategy. A lot of people love CBO, and I know big brands probably run CBOs. Okay. This is for the little guy. We're the little guys. But the CBO, you put your money in, you put your budget on the campaign level, and it just spreads it out throughout all the different ads. And you're just letting Meta, you just trust them to do this. The problem with this is Meta is not always optimizing for purchases, what's best for you. Like, think about how the platform works. They want people to stay on the platform as long as possible, spend as much time on the platform as possible. So a lot of the times they optimize for engagement. This is why you'll have a campaign of 20 ads. And instead of like them getting equal spin and it feeling like, oh, Meta's kind of optimizing for making this whole thing work as one machine, they just shove all the spin to one ad. And maybe that's because that ad got tons of engagement. So that's how that situation works. There's definitely a place for CBOs. Like, one of the offers I showed up there is on a CBO. And that's because I've just tested so much that I have something that works. But you need to have a lot of winning ads, I think, to make that work. And the biggest problem is you just don't know which hook works. If you have 20 ads, you put them in a CBO, one ad gets spinned, you turn it off, another ad gets spinned. You don't know how it compares to everything else, even if you are getting results. You might have a hidden ad down there that's just not getting spinned because Meta doesn't pick it, but it could be your winning ad. So what do we do instead? ABOs, very granular testing. And it's a 4-step process. This is not complicated. Even if you're watching this because you've watched my stuff before and you're like, whoa, he's really in the weeds here. Don't worry. Like, this is going to be simple. If you've stuck this far, you might as well stick it out. Like, you can do it. Anyways, step number 1, get your KPIs. Very simple. Let's say you have a $27 offer. You have a $13 order bump. In this hypothetical, 100% of people take it. So you have a $40 AOV. This number is the number we look at, the AOV. LTV, if you have like a recurring thing, you know those kind of stats, you've been doing this for a while. Your LTV is more important than your AOV, but let's say you're testing something from scratch. You just need to know your AOV. What we're trying to do here is find our max cost per click reversed engineered from this AOV. So I've gave a little example here. Let's say if you are just starting out, you really don't know anything, you're probably going to have a 1% or less conversion rate. So in this example, you would take the 1% times by 40, and now max thing you can do is get a 40-cent cost per click, which is difficult. Okay, 2%. Let's say your sales page is not completely trash. It's decent. Let's do the same math. 80-cent cost per click. Difficult. Okay, one of my offers does run on sub 80-cent cost per click, but that's because my CPMs are really low. And then if you have a 3% conversion rate, that's pretty good. 3 to 5%, 8%, that's really good. You know, if you already know your conversion rate numbers, if it's 5%, if it's 7%, it's better than these I've said here, then you just do the math for that. But $1.20 max CPC, and that's fairly easy to get depending on your niche and depending on how saturated the niche is. And one important rule here, you need to make sure that your hooks, that your ads are congruent with your landing page. If your ads have nothing to do with the offer, you'll get a ton of cheap clicks maybe, but they're just not from the right people. So a low CPC doesn't matter if no one's actually buying the offer. For example, if you're selling some kind of, biz op for teachers, see how teachers are making $500 a month on weekends. Okay, that's going to drive purchase intent. Curiosity bait. You won't believe this trick. People might click that, but that has nothing to do with the teachers making money. So how are you going to get any purchases like that? So just keep that in mind. As long as you don't make like super clickbaity ads like that, you'll be fine. Step number 2, build the campaign. This is the simple part. It looks crazy because I got a bunch of arrows and boxes, but it's not. ABO, purchase objective. We're going to do 20 ads at $2 a day each. So it's $40 a day total. It'll spend a little more than that, a little less sometimes. Just how it works. Then run it for 3 to 4 days. So I'll set this up. Campaign, purchase objective, ABO, like I said before. Then we have the ad sets. I put 3 here, but you want to do 20, or you can do 50, or you can do 10. Doesn't really matter. But for this $40 a day example, you want to do each ad set at $2 a day. Keep the targeting fairly broad. If you know you're selling to men, you can put men. If you know the age range, you can put that. But Meta will find the customers as long as you're not making just complete curiosity clickbait ads. And then for the bottom, we have 2 ads within each ad set. And the only thing we want to do here is test one variable. This is not like a big part of the test. I just find you might as well test this because it makes it pretty simple to just see which one's getting the spend and which one has better CTRs and lower CPCs. So, for example, on this, when I say test one variable, I don't mean test the image, and the image might have the hook on it, or the video might have the hook. This is all for image ads. I probably should have prefaced with this, but you can do the same thing with videos. We want to test one simple variable. So maybe the primary text is 100 words or whatever. Well, the only thing maybe we want to test there is the exact same ad twice, basically, except for the first 100 characters of the primary text of both these ads have changed. And they're exactly the same throughout all these. So we can get data on what's the best hook, and then also data on what's the best performing top line of the primary text. That might be a little complicated to understand, but if you do have meta ads, you should understand that. Now, I'm not going to make it visual, but or you just headlines. Okay, maybe you have one headline, the primary text are the same, everything's the same, website's the same, but your headline is different. So these 2 things have different headlines. So think about it like that. You can also just do one ad, one ad set, one campaign 20 times. That's fine, but I like to test that other separate variable because it doesn't really affect the results of like what we're trying to achieve here. Next, so you don't lose your mind paying attention to this all day, is to set kill rules before you launch. These will run automatically in the background. You don't have to check your account. They'll check for you. And they'll kill stuff for you. Now, you might want to, pay attention, see, just in case you did these rules wrong or something's going wrong. But overall, they should work. Meta's got that dialed in pretty good. Rule number 1 is if your CPC exceeds your max allowable after 4x spend and there's 0 purchases, you turn the ad set off. So, for example, if your max CPC is 80 cents and after $3.20 spend, it does not get a purchase, it'll turn that ad set off automatically because we know that's kind of the KPI we're looking for. And kill rule number 2 is if the spend hits $20, 50% of your $40 AOV with 0 purchases, turn off the ad set. That's in this $40 AOV example. I do 50% of my spend, so it would be $20 in this scenario. But if you've got a big budget, if you're not testing maybe 25 or 30 ads or whatever, you're testing like small amounts at a time, you can just do 1 times your AOV. So as soon as it spends $40, you just turn the ad off. It hasn't got a sale. That's more mathematically correct, but I like to do 50% because it's very easy to test a high volume of ads. Not very difficult to do that. So those are your simple kill rules. And finally, read the data and do not get emotional. There's only 3 possible outcomes, and each one tells you what to fix in your funnel. Number 1, you have purchases that are better than break even or break even. You have a working offer. You make iterations on your winner and you scale via volume of creative. You can launch tons of these $2 tests. I do that. I've already launched 350. I do $3 on this specific offer, $3 tests on this offer to find 15 winners. A lot of them are going to lose, but your winners will return tons of money over time. Or you can just move, let's say you've tested 50 ads. You have 10 winners that have all got over a 1 ROAS. You're selling a digital product. Move those to the CBO, and then you can do the CBO thing where you put the budget throughout the whole campaign and it just picks based on that. But you already know those are winners. Okay. You're not just guessing. You're not letting Meta just guess. You already know those have data behind them. Next, you have a high CTR, which is click-through rate, or low CPC, and there's no purchases. Maybe the hook is good. You need to look at the ad, make sure it's not super clickbaity, free iPad type of thing. But maybe the hook is good and your sales page doesn't align with the hook. So they saw the hook, they go on a sales page and like, this isn't exactly what I saw in the ad. I would just take that ad hook as long as it fits on a sales page and just put it on the sales page. Try that first, or just take that ad and run it individually to that lander with the headline, just same headline on both. Make sure they're just somewhat congruent, or your sales page just sucks. And that would be, you have to go through and fix the copy on your sales page, which unfortunately that'll be the problem at times, but that's a problem for another video. And the final scenario is low CTR and no purchases. Shitty hook. Gonna have to make a new hook, or your offer is just not resonating with the market. It's already been done before. You're not unique, or there's no unique mechanism to it, things like that. So change the hooks or the offer entirely and then just relaunch the test. I tested a skincare product, or like skincare digital product 3 days ago. Got 2 purchases on the first day. I was like, we're going to be rich. 3 days go by, the low CTR, high CPCs, no purchases. Okay, I'm out. I don't know that market that well. It was just kind of off a whim. Move on to something else. Tested another one, 2 purchases 2 days ago, 2 purchases yesterday. Already have a purchase today above break even. Okay, now we have an offer we can work with. So that's kind of how I think through those offers. And you're going to fail a lot. You're going to test stuff and most of it's not going to work. But when it does work, it can pay you every single day. So hope this was valuable. I know it was very technical. If you're not in the meta weeds, maybe you didn't like this at all, but appreciate y'all. Tune in next time. Peace.